Hey Raiders fans, welcome back to the channel, where we bring you exclusive updates and all the latest news on our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Before we dive into today's content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. That way, you'll never miss breaking news, analysis, or insider insights on the team. Today, we're going to talk about some of the players who are currently on the hot seat. And this is especially important because these are players who have been in the spotlight during our previous videos. Many of the players you're about to see are ones I've talked about before, highlighting their potential to make an impact on this team or even earn a spot on a roster. Some of them may surprise you, and some may make sense, but the key thing to understand is that their future with the Raiders is not guaranteed. This is a team in transition, and every snap counts, every practice matters, and every decision by the coaching staff can determine who stays and who goes. We're going to rank these players from 10 all the way down to 1, with number 1 being the player I believe is on the hottest seat heading into the upcoming games and practices. Starting off at number 10, we have linebacker Cody Lindenberg. Now, I understand that Lindenberg was drafted in the 7th round this season, but being drafted doesn't automatically secure a roster spot, especially on a team like the Raiders that values performance and versatility. Do I think he has a chance to make it? Yes, but it's far from guaranteed. The Raiders might only keep 5 linebackers, and right now, between Lindenberg and Tommy Eichenberg, that 5th spot is far from secure. The top 4 linebackers, Jermaine Pratt, Alanon Roberts, Devin White, are established, and the competition behind them is fierce. In the preseason game against Seattle, Lindenberg played 25 snaps and earned a 53.8 overall grade from PFF. It's a decent showing for a rookie trying to prove himself, but the competition doesn't stop there. Players like Matt Jones have also been generating some buzz. While I don't think Jones will outright take Lindenberg's job, the presence of other talented players makes it clear that no one is safe until they earn it. Lindenberg is on notice, and his performance in training camp and joint practices will likely decide his fate. At number 9, we have quarterback Darnell Holmes. Now, some analysts have called Holmes a lock to make the roster, but I think that's an unfair statement. Holmes has shown promise, but the Raiders are experimenting with several players in the nickel and safety positions, which complicates the depth chart. Holmes didn't start for the Raiders against Seattle, but he did see 12 snaps and earned a 63.4 overall PFF grade. Decent, but not exceptional. The coaching staff is looking at versatility and long-term potential, and players like Greedy Vance might be viewed as having higher upside over the next 2 to 3 years. Kai Blue Kelly is another player in the mix, receiving snaps at both outside corner and in the nickel. When the team evaluates Holmes, Vance, and Kelly, they may prioritize the player offering more versatility. For that reason, Holmes is still on the bubble, and he'll need to show more during practice and preseason action to solidify his spot. Coming in at number 8, we have running back Sincere McCormick. McCormick is a talented player, but he's in a position where the Raiders expect him to contribute in multiple ways. Running between the tackles is one thing, but in today's NFL, running backs are also evaluated on pass protection and special teams performance. Against Seattle, McCormick earned an 82.8 PFF grade in pass blocking, which is promising, but he only played 14 snaps, fewer than players like Dylan Lowy and Collier. McCormick is competing against them and other running backs of the final roster spot, and the coaching staff will be watching closely to see how he performs in these key roles. His ability to contribute on special teams and protect the quarterback will likely determine whether he earns a spot on this roster. At number 7, we have defensive tackle Leke FAU. Injuries have made FAU's situation precarious, and unfortunately, he may not play against the 49ers. Being available is crucial for roster security, especially on the defensive line where depth is essential. With the release of Christian Wilkins, the Raiders initially looked to FAU to fill that gap, but his health has limited his availability, and other defensive tackles are taking reps and showing they can contribute. Every missed practice and every snap not played gives other players an opportunity to impress, making FAU's roster spot far from certain. He'll need to prove he's fully healthy and capable of contributing consistently to solidify his place on the team. Number 6 on the hot seat list is safety/cornerback JT Woods. Recently added to the roster and listed as a secondary depth option, Woods has versatility but has yet to make a significant impact on the field. Against Seattle, he played only in the fourth quarter, and his performance was rough, with over-pursuits and missed tackles earning him a 35.6 overall PFF grade. The team also signed Terrell Edmunds, another safety, which raises questions about Woods' long-term prospects. Additionally, players like Trey Taylor, Chris Smith, and Lonnie Johnson Jr. are all in the mix for depth and competition in the defensive backfield. Woods' role is far from secure, and he'll need to elevate his play to avoid being edged out by competition. Number 5 is safety Chris Smith. Smith has been given significant opportunities during training camp and preseason action, including playing 45 snaps in the preseason, the most of any defensive player. Despite this, his performance has been underwhelming, with a 55.8 overall PFF grade. The Raiders have since added Terrell Edmunds, who could challenge Smith for playing time, especially in roles like the big nickel position where Smith was initially used. Smith's performance and adaptability in upcoming practices and games will be key to determining whether he remains on the roster or is replaced. At number 4, we have wide receiver Tommy Milloe, a 6th-round draft pick from Montana State. Milloe's situation is somewhat similar to Lindenberg's in that he's a developmental player, but his seat is hotter because he's currently buried on the depth chart. Against Seattle, he played only 7 snaps, and his opportunities on special teams are limited. The Raiders are looking for players who can contribute immediately, and while Milloe may develop into a solid contributor over the next few years, he needs to show he can help the team win now to secure a roster spot. Alex Bachman and Philip Dorsett currently rank above him, and Milloe's ability to prove his readiness and potential will determine whether he survives the final cuts. At number 3, we have linebacker Amari Gaynor. Gaynor hasn't done anything wrong per se, but he finds himself in a tough situation due to scheme fit and roster construction. The Raiders have invested in players like Jamal Adams, Jermaine Pratt, Devin White, Alanon Roberts, Tommy Eichenberg, Cody Lindenberg, and Matt Jones at linebacker, and Gaynor has not been receiving the same attention or opportunities as some of his peers. He played only 4 snaps against Seattle, but earned a 64.6 overall grade, showing effort and skill. However, his chances of making the roster appear slim, and he may need to look for opportunities with other teams if he doesn't survive the cuts. Coming in at number 2 on the hot seat is defensive end Tyree Banks. Banks was a highly touted draft pick in the 3rd round, but so far his performance has been inconsistent. Against Seattle, he logged 28 snaps and earned a PFF grade of 58.2, showing flashes of potential but failing to maintain consistent pressure on the quarterback. The Raiders have invested significant resources in their defensive line, with established players like Max Crosby, Chandler Jones, and Clelin Ferrell commanding the majority of snaps. Banks has to carve out his role behind them, and the margin for error is extremely small. Competition is fierce, with rookies like Jamari Wills and veteran free agents like Devin Still also vying for depth spots. In training camp, Banks has shown excellent technique on some plays, but there have been moments where he's struggled against double teams and misread blocking schemes. The coaching staff has made it clear that they are looking for players who can consistently disrupt the pocket, set the edge against the run, and contribute in sub-packages. Banks has the talent, but he must translate it into consistent production. Otherwise, he risks being surpassed by younger or more versatile players. The stakes are compounded by the Raiders' defensive philosophy. They prioritize speed and adaptability along the line, which means that a player who can only excel in certain situations may not be enough to earn a roster spot. Banks' next few practices will be critical, as he'll need to demonstrate both physical dominance and mental acuity, showing he can read the offense, react quickly, and adjust on the fly. Every missed opportunity, every misstep is magnified when the roster is tight and the margin for error is non-existent. What's fascinating about Banks is that when he's on his game, he's a game changer. His first step is explosive, his ability to bend around the edge is impressive, and he has shown glimpses of elite pass rushing ability. But football at this level is unforgiving, and flashes are not enough. He needs to sustain that level across every snap every drill, and every game. Now, let's move to number one, the player who is undoubtedly on the hottest seat of all entering the season. This is a situation that has generated intense discussion among fans, analysts, and even former Raiders players, because it involves a high-profile athlete whose presence on the team has been both expected and controversial. At number one is wide receiver Jalen Scott. Scott was drafted in the second round last year, and expectations were sky-high. Fans anticipated he would be a key target for the quarterback, a reliable deep threat, and a consistent contributor in the slot. However, preseason action and training camp have not gone according to plan. Scott has struggled with route running, timing with the quarterback, and securing contested catches. Against Seattle, he played 19 snaps and earned a PFF grade of 51.4. The statistics don't lie. He's underperforming relative to his draft position and the expectations placed upon him. What makes Scott's situation particularly precarious is the depth at the wide receiver position. The Raiders have veterans like Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Mack Hollins ahead of him on the depth chart. Additionally, younger players like Tommy Mallow, Alex Bachman, and newly signed free agents are all competing for those final spots. The Raiders are building a roster that rewards production and reliability, and Scott has yet to demonstrate that he can consistently deliver at that level. Coaches have been patient, but patience is not infinite. In interviews, the head coach has emphasized that players will be judged on performance, effort, and ability to execute under pressure. And in Scott's case, there have been enough inconsistencies to raise red flags. Adding to the pressure, Scott has been dealing with minor injuries that have limited his practice repetitions. While these injuries are not season-threatening, they have impacted his ability to build chemistry with the quarterback and prove his readiness. Football is a performance-based sport, and in situations like this, being unavailable or inconsistent can quickly lead to a player falling down the depth chart. Fans have expressed frustration on social media, questioning whether Scott can live up to his draft status and contribute meaningfully this season. Analysts have pointed out that while Scott has elite physical traits, speed, agility, and catch radius, football IQ, route precision, and reliability are just as important, especially in a high-pressure offense like Las Vegas. The Raiders' coaching staff is keenly aware of the scrutiny surrounding Scott. Their evaluation process is holistic. They consider practice performance, in-game execution, special teams contributions, and even attitude and work ethic. Scott's position is complicated because there's no easy solution. If he fails to perform, the team risks losing out on a high-potential receiver. If they stick with him too long despite inconsistent production, they risk weakening the overall offensive efficiency. This tension is why Scott is number one on the hot seat. Every snap matters. Every practice rep is scrutinized. Every interaction with coaches and teammates is observed. He has the talent. He has the tools. But translating potential into reliable performance is what will determine his future with the Raiders. Now, looking beyond Scott and Banks, the Raiders as a team are in a delicate balancing act. The front office is clearly trying to construct a roster that mixes established talent with high-upside prospects. Veterans are expected to contribute immediately. Rookies are expected to show flashes of development, and everyone is evaluated not only on their physical performance, but also on their ability to adapt to the team's culture and scheme. Players on the hot seat, like those we've listed, are essentially auditioning for their roles in real time. The stakes are high because the Raiders' coaching staff has limited roster spots, and competition is fierce at nearly every position. Players who fail to meet expectations face being cut, placed on the practice squad, or in some cases, waived entirely. Those who rise to the challenge can secure not just a roster spot, but meaningful playing time that could define their careers. Training camp and preseason games have been pivotal in this evaluation process. Coaches are watching not just for performance metrics, but for intangibles: leadership, resilience, adaptability, and consistency under pressure. Some players thrive under this scrutiny, stepping up when others falter. Others struggle, exposing weaknesses that might not have been apparent in college or in earlier stages of their careers. For Banks, Scott, and the other players on our hot seat list, this period is their proving ground. Success isn't just about athletic ability. It's about preparation, film study, communication with coaches, and mental toughness. As the Raiders move forward toward the regular season, fans will be watching closely. Every practice, every snap, every game will carry weight. Players like Tyree Banks and Jalen Scott are in a high-pressure environment where the margin for error is razor-thin. Their performance over the next few weeks will determine whether they remain integral parts of a team or find themselves looking for opportunities elsewhere. The countdown of hot-seat players illustrates the reality of the NFL. Whispers have begun circulating in the sports world following the shocking development involving ASHTON GENTY, a player whose career trajectory has fascinated scouts and fans alike. According to sources close to the team, there are strong indications that GENTY has signed with the Raiders, though no official statement has yet been made. Rumors have hinted at the possibility that this move could mark a pivotal moment for both the player and the franchise, sparking heated speculation among analysts and supporters. Insiders suggest that the Raiders have been quietly negotiating for weeks, aiming to strengthen their roster and inject fresh talent into key positions. If these rumors prove accurate, GENTY's arrival could signal a strategic shift in the team's approach, with the potential to dramatically influence their performance in upcoming seasons. The timing of these talks, coinciding with a period of intense competition in the league, has fueled conjecture about how this signing might impact rival teams, as well as the morale of current players. Social media platforms have been ablaze with fan reactions, ranging from cautious optimism to outright excitement, as enthusiasts debate the possible implications of such a high-profile acquisition. Observers are also scrutinizing GENTY's recent career statistics, wondering whether his performance can seamlessly translate into the Raiders' style of play and whether the management's confidence in him is justified. Rumors swirling around ASHTON GENTY's potential signing with the Raiders have intensified as insiders suggest that the deal might be more than a simple transaction, potentially representing a calculated move to reshape the team's offensive strategies. Analysts have speculated that GENTY's unique skill set, particularly his versatility and ability to adapt under pressure, may align perfectly with the Raiders' current tactical ambitions. Some sources have hinted that the management's decision to pursue GENTY stems from an extensive review of scouting reports and performance metrics, indicating that the team sees him as a long-term asset rather than a temporary addition. Conversations in sports circles have also focused on how this acquisition might affect the locker room dynamics, with players and coaching staff potentially having to recalibrate roles and responsibilities. Observers are particularly intrigued by how GENTY's presence could influence the team's draft strategy, as securing an emerging star might alter priorities for upcoming recruitment efforts. Fans have been speculating wildly about possible jersey numbers, celebratory routines, and even marketing campaigns designed to capitalize on GENTY's arrival. While no formal announcement has confirmed the signing, the buzz surrounding the potential move has created an air of anticipation that rivals some of the league's most dramatic trades and acquisitions. Sports journalists have been monitoring every hint of confirmation, from subtle social media posts to cryptic comments from the Raiders' front office, as the story develops into a captivating narrative of intrigue and speculation. In the midst of growing speculation surrounding ASHTON GENTY and the Raiders, industry insiders have suggested that the team's pursuit of the player could be a sign of a broader strategy aimed at revitalizing their competitive edge. According to sources familiar with the matter, the Raiders have been meticulously analyzing GENTY's past performances, focusing on metrics that highlight his ability to thrive in high-pressure scenarios. This rumored signing has ignited debates among pundits, with some arguing that GENTY could be the missing piece in the team's quest for dominance, while others caution that integrating a new star might disrupt existing chemistry. Observers have also noted that such a move could signal the Raiders' intent to become more aggressive in their recruitment approach, setting a precedent for future trades and acquisitions. Speculation extends beyond the field, as marketing executives reportedly see GENTY's potential involvement as an opportunity to boost merchandise sales and expand the team's fan base. Social media chatter continues to fuel the rumor mill, with hashtags, memes, and fan forums dissecting every reported detail, often blending fact with conjecture. Analysts are examining not only Genty's statistical contributions, but also his leadership qualities, fitness levels, and adaptability to different playing styles. Even as official confirmation remains elusive, the mere possibility of Genty joining the Raiders has captivated the sports community, suggesting that this story could evolve into one of the most talked-about developments of the season. The sports world remains abuzz with rumors regarding ASHTON Genty's rumored connection to the Raiders, as speculation intensifies about the potential impact on the team's strategy and league standings. Insiders have hinted that the Raiders' management may have identified Genty as a pivotal asset, capable of transforming both offensive and defensive dynamics in ways that could surprise competitors. Conversations among commentators and fans alike have revolved around how Genty's skill set could influence the team's style of play, particularly in critical matches where adaptability and performance under pressure are crucial. Sources have suggested that scouting reports and analytical data played a central role in the Raiders' interest, emphasizing Genty's consistency, versatility, and potential for long-term development. Rumors further imply that negotiations may have involved complex contractual terms, reflecting the player's perceived value and the team's commitment to securing his services. The potential addition of Genty has also sparked speculation about its effect on team morale, with insiders debating how existing players might respond to the arrival of a high-profile recruit. Fans continue to dissect every possible angle, including tactical formations, potential pairings on the field, and the ripple effects this signing could have on rival team strategies. Even though nothing has been officially confirmed, the persistent buzz suggests that the sports community is bracing for a revelation that could reshape the narrative surrounding the Raiders and their aspirations for the upcoming season, keeping anticipation at fever pitch as discussions evolve daily. ASHTON Genty's supposed signing with the Raiders has become the centerpiece of ongoing speculation, with sports analysts and fans alike dissecting every possible outcome of this rumored move. Sources close to the situation have hinted that the Raiders are seeking to leverage Genty's talents not only to enhance immediate performance, but also to establish a foundation for sustained success. The conversation in sporting circles has centered on how this potential acquisition could affect game strategies, influence draft decisions, and even reshape coaching priorities to accommodate the player's strengths. Observers have noted that if Genty indeed joins the Raiders, it could create new dynamics within the squad, requiring a recalibration of roles, on-field responsibilities, and overall team cohesion. Social media platforms. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.